Why are these people breathing my air? And Russia's gonna be like, comrade, I think you mean our air.
That's my money.
Have you learned nothing about sharing?
Hello friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily Reddit content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we're jumping into some r/Neckbeard stories. Oh, you knew it. I mean, I hope you did. It was right in the title. Our stories today are not the worst ones that I've ever read, but if you do need some eye bleach afterwards, my wife just posted a gardening vlog on her channel, so you should go and check that out. It's gonna be super fantastic, ultra long, definitive edition of our amazing garden, or her amazing garden. I don't really help that much. But anyways, we'll get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will jump into some delicious neckbeard cringe. And our very first story comes from my personal subreddit, r/ReddX Reads. If you'd like to share a story with me there, I would definitely be glad to put it on the channel. So thank you so much, Limpbook1594, for the story of Malebeard. Hello, I'm new to Reddit. My name is Yuna. As a fan of ReddX, I had to share my beard tale. I mean, you're not contractually obligated, but we do appreciate it. Love you and keep being awesome. Love you. Thank you for watching. Note, I'm not a native English speaker and I don't know how to Reddit. That's okay. We were all there at one point. You shall learn through doing. Today, I'm sharing the story of Malebeard. So let's start with some context. It happened mainly in 2019, next school year after graduating high school. I have to admit that I was really emotionally unstable. I was having panic attacks every other day, and my depression was in its highest swing at that time. I'm really into cosplaying, anime, and started dancing to K-pop. Also, I would say that I'm not the ugliest female in this world, so I guess that was what drew this beard in. And the anime, and the cosplaying, and the K-pop. It's basic beard bait stuff. I think probably Yuna is Asian too, so there's another checkbox. But that's their fault for fetishizing you, not your fault for being who you are. Anyways, I met this specimen in special language school in September 2018. I wanted to go to university, and my major of choice was Japanese studies. Uh-oh. In my country, universities are free unless it's a private school, but that means that a lot of people want to enter, and they only accept like 20 people for this specific major. So my first try, I didn't succeed. I found this language school that promised to prepare you, teach you Japanese, and about Japan, its history, culture, literature, etc., in just 1 year. I entered, and I was looking forward to learn stuff to ace my entrance exams. For the first day, I chose to wear a Lolita outfit. I was still figuring out my style at this time, and let me tell you, I regret that shit every day. Why? I cringe so bad when I remember it. It's not inherently a bad style, it's just now you've checked all the boxes. Your beard bait scorecard is absolutely full. So yeah, as you may think, that was how the beard ended up noticing me. I haven't really talked to anyone since I was so shy, but I was in a class/group with him. After 2 months, we did progress tests, and actually, I did pretty well. I got into the higher level group, and so I haven't really talked to the beard as much. On my way to the bus after school one day, he caught up to me and wanted to know if I played Persona games. OP? Not really. I've seen some Let's Plays. I was thinking of seeing some more, I responded, and his face lit up. Malebeard.
It's really interesting. Also, I heard you're a cosplayer.
OP? Yeah, I've cosplayed for quite some time. I don't make that many costumes nowadays. It takes a lot of time and patience with my sewing machine. Malebeard?
Wow! You make your own costumes?
And so we talked for a while. I didn't really want to talk for too long because, hey, anxiety, new people stuff. This was the first time that we talked, in November 2018. And now I hear you cry, OP, why the male in malebeard? Trust me, this shit picks up. In February, I received a mail from Malebeard. Our teacher forgot to set emails of other people to private when she was sending out group mails, and my email address doesn't have my name in it. Our round fellow was curious as to who I might be. I thought it was kind of funny, so I responded something along the lines of, haha, yeah, it's me, OP, I just have this name. Now this beard had my email, but he waited patiently to begin his attack. I honestly can't remember when, but I would say around April when he sent me an email confessing his love to me. That is an inordinate amount of patience for a beard to show. I'm impressed. I remember thinking I would prefer face-to-face confession, but okay, I won't judge. What kind of got to me were lines like, "You look so sad and beautiful," and "I can't forget our talk from when we went to school," or "I'll wait for you in the subway station from time to other time." Oh yeah, sure bud, like I have time to just go to this fucking subway station, which is in the opposite direction from my house, after I spoke to you one time in real life. But that one time really meant a lot to him, OP. He liked you because you're sad and beautiful. Still, I was thinking that he might just be awkward, so I wrote an email back saying very nicely that I treasure his feelings, but I'm unable to reciprocate, and to please not wait for me anywhere. And he responded that he promised to wait, so he will wait regardless. I laughed to myself and thought, okay, enjoy the eternity, bro. After that, I caught him staring at me a few times, and now I hear you cry again. Where's the cringe? We need the cringe. There was some slight cringe. But yeah, where's the beef, OP? Make me feel it in my bones. Well, I got into university, and of course he wrote an email congratulating me for my success. I ignored it. In August, I entered a job, which was specified for 5 weeks. My third day, I had the worst morning. I forgot my employee card and had to go back home to pick it up. I still came on time to work, but I was also feeling sick because my dumbass colleague couldn't be bothered to take time off, and she could here, it's not like in America. So I cried at home for a few minutes before going back. I got into work, felt like shit, and worked my 8 hours. Yo, that's the grind, I guess. What do I get in the evening? Oh yes, a fucking email. His attractiveness levels went up with the phrase, "I saw you on the subway this morning." No, I haven't seen him, and I don't think that he saw me, but he was convinced that I did, and I just ignored him. This bitch was having an existential crisis before work. There were more gems like, "You look so sad and broken. It feels like someone hurt you." And, "I want to be the one to make you happy." Fucking cringe. That's some decent cringe. And to top it all off, he said that he would be going through the station at certain times because he works at a company close by, so I could avoid him. And no, that information did not make my day better. I responded by politely saying, "Fuck off," and that I don't care about his bullshit. And of course, it picks up. After my 5 weeks of work, I entered university and was teaching English to little kids as a part-time job. When I was coming back, ding fucking ding, another email. Oh yeah, now I got a novel describing every month that we knew each other, and how I was basically flirting with him and wanted his advances. I was interesting because I was so smart and knew a lot of stuff. That he wanted to resist me since we were apart by a lot in age. At the same time, he was glorifying large age gap relationships. Please note, I don't have anything against age gap relationships if it works for people, but those people are just not me. I definitely relate to that, OP. That bitch was really long. Does this email classify as literature for my finals? I wanted to scream. I was in my first semester of school, having 2 part-time jobs. I was tired and depressed and just did not want to deal with this shit. His few pages of creepy
month-to-month email shit.
Made me have an OCD attack. I had to clean and write stuff over and over until my mind calmed down, which took a good few hours. This time I responded in my true fashion. I told him he was a pathetic piece of crap and to leave me the fuck alone or I would get the police involved. Side note, I had his emails checked by a lawyer and the police said they wouldn't be able to do anything. So yeah, super reassuring. What am I paying you for? After that, it was silent and the happily ever after. You don't seriously believe that, right? No, he wrote an email to the whole class from the language school talking about
his cancer.
Normally I would be really sympathetic, but there were undertones of emotional manipulation. My beloved grandma died from cancer. I don't take it lightly, but using this as emotional brownie points? Ugh. I couldn't be bothered to answer. And then, of course, another email. He thanked me
for the time that we spent together.
And he told me a made-up story about some girl who
he wanted to marry and have kids with, but she died.
That's not funny. She was supposed to be Japanese and also was a character from the Persona series with a healthy dose of guilt tripping. What? Like literal waifu? What the fuck? I was pissed off, but I didn't reply. And that is where the emails finally stopped. And now you're here and probably thinking, okay, OP, he's weird, but not as bad as you're saying. And in true Japanese fashion, the reality reveals itself. He was 30, I was 20, and I looked 15 years old. He was a misogynist and thought that schnitzel and beer was the way. He'd never seen a vegetable from even a mile away. No wonder he was overweight. He signed up for Japanese language exam preparation in hopes that I would be there, but my sixth sense told me not to sign up for it. Ooh, big brain play. So luckily I was saved from his beardism. And also that was after the mail about the cancer, so turns out he wasn't dying after all. That's great. Or too bad, depending on your perspective. He was nasty. He wore the same clothes, probably showered once every 2 weeks at best, didn't brush his teeth, and had a neckbeard. His personality wasn't anything desirable either. Chronic underachiever who thought himself to be
a Japanese genius.
Total husband material. 0 out of 10, would not repeat again. P.S. I have some emails saved, but they're not in English, so it would probably be useless to post them. I'd still like to read those emails, though. Just run them bitches through Google Translate and post a wall of text. I'd like to hear what he has to say, probably because I'm just a masochist like that. It's heartening that, he wasn't brave enough to approach you like in person. He just kind of crept on your email and kept emailing you. You can block emails, right? I'm pretty sure you can just report it as spam or even just block it completely. I think you did a pretty good job, OP, of just drawing the line in the sand and being like, not interested, fucking creep. And yeah, it might just be email, but getting emails every single day can be totally mentally, physically draining. I do get it, I'm glad that you were far enough away from the situation that things didn't escalate, but also I understand what an invasion of privacy it is, and just having to deal with it every day, ugh. I'd probably have a breakdown over it too, or block the email, which would have been the right move, at least in my opinion, but then maybe he takes it some certain kind of way and decides to escalate things, so your way seemed to work. I thought he was a lot older than 30. When you said, he's 30 and you're 20, I mean, it's an age gap. My wife and I are 6 years apart, so there's a small gap there too. But I was thinking I'm 20 and he's 50 or 60, That's a lifetime apart. A decade is kind of okay, That just means OP is not going to remember all the cool 90s toys that we had, like Gak and Moon Shoes and Street Sharks. I don't think you were actually missing out on that much. Lordy. So thank you for sharing with us, OP. Obviously, I'm open to any beard stories on my subreddit. Let me plug it again, r/ReddX reads. The link is right at the top of the description, so do go check it out if you have a tale that you'd like to be read on the channel. And with all that said, let us jump into our last story. Biotechbeard, the paradox. Wow, sounds fancy. Okay, this was in the mid-2010s when I was taking a break from my master's and was taking classes at a junior college for an operator certificate of biotechnology. Dang. This program is geared towards people who want to go into industry, and is usually a healthy mix of people working in pharmaceutical companies wanting something on paper, and STEM undergrads looking to pad their college applications. There was one person there that seemed to resonate the ideals of a neckbeard, but at the same time is far from it. Hence, the paradox. So here's a breakdown of this specimen. He's about 6 foot, athletic build, around mid-20s with jet black hair, sharp features, green eyes, and really light brown skin. Since this was an afternoon class, he usually only came to class dressed one of two ways, either wearing workout clothes, basketball shorts and those sleeveless tank tops, or dressed in business casual, khakis, dress shoes, and long sleeve shirts. His hair was kept short and uniform, and he was clean shaven. Alright, no neckbeard points in that description as far as I can tell. He worked for a large biopharmaceutical company, and already had a bachelor's degree, so he was one of 3 people in the class with a degree, the other 2 being myself and a girl who worked in a lab for a local university. When it comes to microbiology, biochemistry, and laboratory skills, he is unnaturally intelligent. This was an undergrad lab course, but even myself and the other girl were nowhere near as knowledgeable as Biotechbeard when it came to hard sciences. Also, he had the strange ability to actually explain complicated scientific processes rather simply and effectively. No beard points here either. Apparently from his social media, he was a former Olympic hopeful and an avid rugby player. If asked about it, he would go on and on about
how great he was, and his stats, and how he would be in Rio if it wasn't for his back giving out.
Now that could be annoying if brought up out of nowhere, but like if you asked him about it, then yeah, there's no problem with him going on and on, I guess. He was probably the only one in that class under the age of 30 to have a significant other. We only knew about this because the screensaver of his phone was a picture of them 2 together. This was a class full of STEM undergrads, so this was kinda unique. When a girl in our class announced it to everyone during a long lab,
Oh my god, everyone! Biotechbeard has a girlfriend, and she's really pretty!
Biotechbeard would quirk an eyebrow at her and ask,
Why is that surprising?
Now, all of these sound like the exact opposite of a neckbeard. He would probably be qualified as
a Chad,
wouldn't he? However, like we all know, there's no such thing as a perfect person, and everyone has their own flaws. And Biotechbeard's flaw was definitely pride. A lot of his beliefs bordered on fascism, even by American standards. He was ethnically Indian, I think he was Sikh, but he apparently hated Gandhi. He claimed that Gandhi
literally was a peasant who turned India into a third world country ruled by the untouchables and other lower orders of society.
His words, not mine. You can tell by the voice. By a welfare reservation system. He claimed that currently India is controlled by a parasitic tribe of people called the Parsi, who were outsiders of Iran who had manipulated their way into politics by exploiting the lower castes to usurp power for themselves. And that to restore India
needed to get rid of its affirmative action system for the untouchable and restore those of noble blood and the warrior caste back to power, since they're the only ones educated and competent enough to rule.
And of course, he was conveniently part of this. Oh man, injecting extremely far-leaning political beliefs into a conversation where they don't belong? Yep, that's a beard point. Despite being an American preaching a caste system, he himself had admitted that
he wasn't of pure Indian blood,
as apparently he had done a DNA test a while back out of curiosity, and apparently he had like 20% Hellenistic Greek DNA going back almost 3,000 years. He said that
he theorizes that Alexander the Great's Macedonian army might have been the reason for that.
So how was he able to rationalize his own purity along with this? I don't know. Also, his girlfriend was apparently white. Didn't that go against his whole purity thing?
It doesn't really count because it's me.
He also believed that homosexuality, lesbianism, and bisexuality were preferences, and he apparently had no problems with that. But he also apparently believed that transsexuality was just politicized schizophrenia, stating that
basic biology doesn't care about your feelings.
So this is like a 10B, right? Trans-exclusionary neckbeard. We're coming up with acronyms. It's getting really real. He only respected 3 people in this entire class. 2 of them were me and the lab tech girl because we had degrees and could more or less keep up with him. And the other was his lab partner, who was a dude named John in his 50s and also worked at a large company along with Biotechbeard. John was a cool dude with 3 kids and got along with everyone. I feel like the reason Biotechbeard got along with John was because the 2 worked at the same place, and Biotechbeard always maintained some degree of professionalism with coworkers and professors, joking along with them as he talks about work-related matters. Biotechbeard's group always finished first and had the best results out of the 5 table groups that we had. The rest of the class, however, he seemed to treat like dirt, as he saw the rest of the class as
useless and taking up space.
He once told me, seriously, that
they're lucky to even be allowed to breathe our air.
Jesus Christ. It's over the top. He also seemed to be very blunt, telling one girl,
I think you should be more realistic about your abilities,
when she said she wanted to apply to UCLA. Bro, that is a burn. UCLA's entry requirements? Never mind. He also seemed to believe that the undergrad were
lesser than him
because he already had a bachelor's degree, and the only reason that he was there was because he had to pad his credentials to try and get a promotion. Even if you just lightly mocked him, he would take revenge on you in a way that was absolutely harsh. I distinctly remember 2 encounters. When someone made a crude image of him with Microsoft Art, with a caption reading,
quiet, I have a bachelor's.
That is a light jabbing, isn't it? And they posted it in the class group chat. He merely looked at it silently for a bit, and then at break he would critique the dude who made it, some nerdy looking chubby undergrad,
about his lack of artistic skill.
He then whipped out a piece of paper and proceeded to expertly sketch the kid's face onto the paper and handed it to him, saying,
this is how you draw someone. I know that it's hard for someone as talentless and worthless like you to exist, but you're gonna try and communicate, so at least do so on a level that's above a monkey. Either get better or kill yourself. I don't care which.
And he said this openly, in front of the entire class, teachers and all. And no one did anything. We just silently went back to our own matters. Which, that's half the problem. I bet if you confront this guy, he'll fold like a fucking house of cards. I remember a long lab in which the entire class was in one group and had to work together. Biotechbeard was pissed because he felt that he had to
carry the entire class like always.
He was complaining about it to me while we were walking out of the lab around 10 p.m. When we were at the parking lot, one of the high school grads, a skinny 18 to 19-year-old white guy who was about 6'3" and lanky and was also in our class, would try and call him out on it by saying, dude, you always talk in class. Even the teacher is sick of you. You need to learn to stop. Biotechbeard would turn back and look at this kid, glaring at him so angrily that his green eyes were practically glowing. He'd walk over to that kid and ask slowly,
aren't you a freshman?
In a low voice. The kid would nod as he was scared of Biotechbeard. Biotechbeard then glared at him and yelled,
then shut the fuck up and keep walking!
As the kid would begin to meekly walk towards his car. I don't think that kid was scared of him if you tried to call him out. Should've just punched him in his shit. Now you shut the fuck up. If you try and attempt to criticize Biotechbeard in any way, he would size you up and pick apart any flaw that you had. Your weight, your appearance, your lack of knowledge in class, etc. His favorite insult to people was calling them autistic. Similar to a lot of posts on this board. However, if you could actually keep up with him in class or were able to fight back against his insults with your own, then you would earn his grudging respect, which everyone in the class seemingly somehow for some reason wanted. I think the best way to describe him was like an ethnic Dr. Cox from Scrubs. Scrubs, bro. Haven't heard anybody talk about Scrubs in a minute. But yeah, like I said, he'll fold like a house of cards. You just gotta push back. Fuck that guy. He's weak. I wish I could tell you some comeuppance that he got, but unfortunately, this is a real story, so what happened is that after one semester, Biotechbeard was gone. Well, that's at least some sort of victory. John, his co-worker, stated that he was apparently too busy working on his master's and was studying at a university. I checked up on him on LinkedIn the other day, and he is now, ironically, in Russia. Working there in the University of Moscow as a researcher. He's gonna love it in Russia, bro. He's gonna be like, why are these people breathing my air? And Russia's gonna be like, comrade, I think you mean our air. Fuck your Yankee blue jeans. God damn. This dude's definitely a mess. You know, he's got some sort of insecurities inside of him. So he works so hard to maintain like a perfect outer appearance and prove his worth to everybody around him. But that sort of behavior definitely comes from like a deep sort of pain, you know? I will admit that it's kind of hard to qualify him as a neckbeard, but like the OP said, he is a paradox, you know what I mean? He's sort of like nice guy-ish, maybe a dash of entitled person, maybe a smidge of just general assholishness. But like most neckbeards, you throw a fedora on him and you got it. I'm interested as to like what his hobbies were and stuff like that, because maybe that could shed some light on a bit more of his beardiness. Although I guess the extreme political viewpoints and like inserting them into everyday conversation is enough for me, you know what I mean? That shows an extreme lack of self-awareness or just narcissism that you would go so far as to think that people actually give a shit about what your opinion is about the political climate of Pakistan. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. We're in college, nobody cares. Just do your work and let's all go home. How about? Good golly. Like I said, not the cringiest stories that I've ever had on the channel, but I definitely appreciate all of the OPs for posting. I hope that it was able to bring you at least a little smile today. And if it did, I hope that you will like, comment, and or subscribe on this video. Maybe share it around if you should like. I definitely do appreciate that. There's also some links in the description, including my own subreddit and my wife's channel where a nice gardening blog was posted today. I think I said that earlier, but I'm gonna say it again because go watch it. It's super good. She's working super hard out there for a couple months and she just wants to share what she loves to do. Just like I love to share what I love to do with the Neckbeard stories. It's a different vibe, to be sure, but I enjoy that. We also got our Patreon down there. You're seeing some names on the screen right now, and I would like to thank all of these people, but especially 0MMX, Lady Nix, Robert Waits, Pope Squid, Rebecca H, Cider Drinker, Tato Ferret, The Last Shinobi, Michael Undead, Aaron W, Mitch, John Hero, Josh K, Candy Sora, DigiNZ, Fire Drake, Little Lone Wolf, Lone Island, Shara, Marvawana, Miss Monday, and Katie Min. Thank you guys so much for helping me to live the dream, supporting what I do here as we try and take off and make this whole full-time thing work. It's been working pretty well so far, but obviously a little more always goes a long way. So if you can donate monetarily, I definitely do appreciate it. If you can't right now though, don't sweat it too much, man. I just appreciate you coming through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. Because really, the views is how my beard gets buttered. You know what I'm saying? In order to make it back, you'll need to keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands. It is super important. But also, take some time out to do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe watching another ReddX video? That could be pretty cool. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I'll see you in the next one, friends. And until then, bye-bye.